Hello everybody. Hey, this is Ken Faulkner, and I got another knife video from the collection. Going back through and trying to find some fun stuff, things that I particularly have a fondness for. I like all my knives for different reasons. That's why it's so hard for me to sell them. I did recently order something off of Blade Bench, but it's having a little trouble getting here. USPS is still haunting me. But anyway, I got this knife here to show. This is a Civivi. You see the C for Civivi. There was a Wii version of this that first came out, and it was quite the whole rage because of the locking mechanism. It's a Sneck design. This is the only one from Sneck that I have in my collection. But I guess he came up with this super lock. And I believe on the Wii knife, when you pull this one back, you can actually pull it out and like open it up. I thought it was kind of odd. You know, I'm for some reason, and I really can't nail it down exactly. I think it might have to do with the price for a Chinese knife, and then it kind of adds on some things like some of the Wii knives just kind of don't really wow me so much. You know, maybe it's just, I don't know. Sometimes there's something that kind of holds you back, and I really can't nail it down. But anyway, when I saw this one in the Civivi version, and it doesn't have that crazy pulling out thing, which I just don't get it. But maybe somebody can tell me why that's cool. It's definitely different, but I needed to get this one. A lot of people talk about it. You know, I've seen it a lot on channels, and people talk about how they wish they had the knife. And yeah, I can see why, because it is a very, very cool knife. I mean, for me, I am not a big speed hole guy. Definitely not. If you've ever seen me commenting on videos or on live sometimes when they have the speed holes, yeah, it's just not my thing. But I could overlook it on this one because it has this very, very fidgety lock that is so fun to play with. And it's a cool knife design. I always like this kind of, you know, reverse tonneau, if you want to call it. It's got kind of a Wharncliffe-y sort of, with a slight belly to it, kind of edge here. So it almost, you know, it's got that kind of ability to be a food prep sort of thing, because you can, you know, say this is the table and you put that blade down on the table, you got lots of room for your hand there, so you can actually do that cutting that you need to do without hitting your knuckles. So that's pretty cool. I guess as long as I have this out, we might as well measure it up. We got 3 inches of blade length, which is pretty good, especially when you give you a very usable choil out there. So the whole blade length itself from the tip here is about 3.5. So that's right in that sweet spot for me. The handle is going to be, I think, pretty close to a good ratio. It's about 4.25. So the blade, when it's closed, it comes pretty close to the end, but you don't feel it out here. You're not going to be able to touch it, so that's good. So yeah, a lot of good features about it. And with the Civivi version, I don't know off the top of my head what the price was for the Wii, but this one is only $78, at least when I got it. And when I put my price on my spreadsheet, $78, which is freaking amazing. I mean, that's budget range for me. I know some people would say under 50, some would say under 30, but yeah, I mean, $80. That's really, when it has something special like this. I mean, it's G10. It's a Nitro V steel, so that's not bad. It's definitely, you know, better than an ACR or something like that, or even, you know, I like D2, but you know, for some people they're gonna like a Nitro V blade a little bit more. Yeah, it's a really good cutter, nice and thin. Feels pretty thin behind the edge. It's clearly not super clean. I use my knives. I definitely use them. They're usually in pretty good shape, but sometimes I don't always clean them as well as I should. I'm definitely gonna get the alcohol out and do a little cleaning on this guy. Probably cut and open boxes because it feels like tape schmug, or what do you want to call it. Handle feels very comfortable, very neutral handle. You don't really feel, I'm not really super sensitive in all these ways. I don't like hold a knife, go, oh man, it's sticking me, because I don't know if I'm just kind of not very sensitive or what. You can ask my girlfriend about that. But I do cry at movies, so maybe I am sensitive in some ways. But yeah, I'm getting a little too personal here. It does have a reversible clip. It's got a kind of a weird position on the clip, but I haven't had any problem with it in and out of the pocket. It's got one of those folded metal type, and it's got enough retention, but it's not so stiff, and it's nice and flat screws here, inset into the handle. So yeah, I don't really have a problem with it having it off center like that. It seems to work well. But yeah, it's reversible, so you can put it on left side, right side, which is always nice. And then that lock is very much a neutral. Not great with the left hand, but it definitely works with the left hand. You get a little bit of that suck in, like a detent, kind of sucking in the blade type thing, which is really good. Gives you a good feel on the flick, middle finger flick. Maybe not as snappy as a ball detent would be, but it is pretty good. I mean, because it does have that little bit of a spring, but it's a nice solid, and it's not. I might be able to. No, I can feel it kind of coming out a little bit, but it springs back. So you're really not going to get this thing opening in your pocket. Every once in a while I like to get an all blacked out blade. It's kind of cool. Not always, obviously. As I'm going to do some comparisons here. Like the typical ones, we got the two from Ontario Rat, the 1 and the 2. So smaller than the Rat 1, bigger than the Rat 2. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? That's why you have those two. I got a Spyderco Paramilitary 2, which is pretty close. Blade length, I'd say, is right on the money. Handle length is a little bit longer, maybe with the Paramilitary 2. And then I got the Tenacious, because I don't have at this point, I haven't gotten a Para 3 yet, which you're supposed to use. And I'd say maybe even more close to the length of the Tenacious. So, okay, so there are those. If you have those knives, you kind of have an idea. I don't know. I see everybody do these comparisons. There's always this one, the classic, right? The Penguin, and it's bigger than the Penguin. And always, if it's the same size as the Penguin, I'm kind of going, maybe not. I like the Penguin. It's a great knife, but it's down at that smaller range for me. It's kind of the EDC size, but I kind of like a little bit more than that in a knife, and this one gives me that. And then, of course, I don't know if I showed this yet or not. The 80-20, maybe the lock that started off this craze, and probably an inspiration. Although it's definitely a different kind of mechanism, because this has a spring up in this area here, whereas this one is springing way back. There's like a long bar, and the whole bar moves all the way back. So a different kind of mechanism. I don't know that much about the strength of the Super Lock. But the fidgetiness is very good, and we're talking about very close to the same. A little bit more blade for sure, but the handle's about right here. I'd say that the ratio is maybe a little bit better on this one. Weight-wise, yeah, they're about the same. This one's got the original Goat aluminum scales. They're about the same, so it's definitely fairly slim in the pocket. Neutral handle, so you don't have to worry about getting held up anywhere, but you do have that finger choil, which really is great for up top. You can get that finger up there if you want to do utility cuts. So it's a very useful knife. It's not just about that lock. No back flipper, so you don't have to worry about that. Just the thumb studs that work on both the thumb and the middle finger, and then you always can use that locking back and forth craziness. All right, guys, that's it, man. The Civivi Vision is a fun knife, and I would recommend it if you're able to spend money in that $80 range. I haven't checked lately to see what the prices are or if they're available or not. I would assume they are because it's such a popular knife. I'm pretty sure they're going to have these guys out on the market right now. So just wanted to show it to you guys. If you don't have one and you've been kind of wondering, thinking about it, I'm just giving you my 2 cents. It definitely, everybody's different. So I really like it for what that's worth. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And, I'll be back and I'll see you on the next one.